So, last night's boxing. Josh Taylor, Jack Catteral. It was a fucking travesty of a decision. This is the David Watson opinion. And first off, I'm going to say, I, like many people, honestly believed that Josh Taylor was going to win before he even stepped in the ring. It's like, the guy's going to win. Jack Catterall's just not at that level. He's not good enough. You know, so it's yeah. I'm as guilty as everybody for thinking that. I agree, except possibly Josh Taylor was struggling to make the weight, but last night he was comprehensively outboxed. I do think there's some mitigating circumstances, and I think I've had this myself, and I was just talking about this on Instagram with a friend of mine. I remember many years ago going to watch Takalu, a chap called Takalu, fight at Cardiff Castle. And we were in the crowd. Everybody was roaring him on. And he lost the decision. And we even seen him afterwards as he walked by. Said, mate, you were robbed. Like proper little fanboys. Got home, watched the fight. And seen all of the angles. And he was schooled for every single round. We were caught up in the moment. Didn't have the best view. And saw what we wanted to see. Now, that I'm not excusing judges. Judges don't get to do that. But I do think there are mitigating circumstances when you get these really bad decisions. And I do think this decision was a travesty. I do think Jack Catteral was robbed. First off, Josh Taylor was the massive favourite. So no matter how impartial you are as a judge, you are walking into that ring, sitting down at your chair and thinking Josh Taylor's going to win anyway. It's a given. He's already being talked about one of the best pound for pound boxers in the world. He's going to move up a weight and he's going to do the same to Terence Crawford. It was a foregone conclusion. So that already will sway the judges. It just does. Everybody knows this. Second, again, and it's to do with the psychology of the build-up. That whole he's pound for pound. Everybody said Jack Catteral couldn't win. Thirdly, it was a hometown fight. The crowd cheered every punch, whether it landed or whether it missed. And I know this because I've been guilty of it myself. Of being at a fight and cheering every punch, everything. And it sways people. It does sway people. And it only has to, and I'll get into how that happens. The worst one as well is judges only sit on one side of the ring. They don't get to see all of the angles. There's punches they miss, punches that are slipped. When you just see one guy doing one thing from one angle, it just doesn't show you the whole fight. And there's no way around that, really. You know, but judges aren't watching TV screens. They're actually sat there under the ropes looking up. And it's a very one-dimensional look at a fight. The last one, and this is an important one as well, and it's a combination of things. Judges tend to be purists. They like to see certain styles of boxing. And last night was a very scrappy fight with both boxers getting warned and both boxers getting points deducted. And what that means is when you get close rounds which are really scrappy and it's not clear cut, judges are going to go in the favour of all of the preconceived conceptions, all of those preconceived ideas. Josh was pound for pound. Josh was the hometown man. Josh was the favourite. Josh was going to win and then fight Terence Crawford. And many people would have said he had a good chance of winning that. The very fact that he's already been made the WBO super champion, the very fact he's already said he's going to go up a weight, tells you the psychology of this fight before it even happened. There was already a plan in place with everybody. Now, I don't think anybody has deliberately gone out of their way to rob Jack Catteral. I don't believe that boxing is that corrupt still. It once definitely was. But the fight, I think Catteral had it by at least 8 rounds. At least 8 rounds. And one of those rounds was a knockdown. So it's a definite 10-8. So there's only, in my opinion, 4 rounds that Josh had. But there would be lots of rounds for the refs that were close. And Catteral was definitely the spoiler. He was the one that was spoiling Josh's work. And that's his job. That is definitely his job. Let's not misunderstand this. That's what he's there to do. To spoil the other guy's work and do his own thing. It upset Josh Taylor's rhythm. Upset his timing. It upset his whole game plan. His whole fight was screwed because of how well Jack Catteral spoiled his work. But in doing so, he didn't impress the judges. Now, again, I cannot stress this enough. Every commentator, even the Sky commentators, even Ben, the promoter, have said it's disgusting and a travesty. And I still believe it is. Nothing will convince me that Jack Catteral wasn't robbed last night. But I don't believe the sport is the dirty, corrupt sport. Actually, it probably fucking is. But you know what I'm saying? It's not as dirty and corrupt like it is with mobsters, with people taking backhanders. I don't believe it's that. I just think there were so many mitigating circumstances that went against Jack Catteral last night. And it's just unfair. Unfair. Last night, Catteral was definitely the better boxer. And I think another thing that, and it's a minor thing. And I am going to stress, I'm talking about minor things here. But you add up enough minor things and they become a whole thing. And that makes a big difference. So if you've got any close round, any scrappy, edgy close round, all of these little minor things are going to go in Josh's favour. The judges just are not going to back Catteral for that. But one of the things that was very clear last night was Josh was having a bad night. Josh Taylor was having a very bad night in the ring. You could see he was tense. You could see he was uncomfortable with his performance. You could see he was getting frustrated. And one of the things that also tells a judge is you're not actually getting schooled by the other guy. You're not clearly getting beaten by the other guy. The guy's got your number, but there's a kind of a body language element that tells everybody. Like, let's flip back a bit, right? The other night, the week before, with Amir Khan and Kell Brook. Kell Brook fucking schooled Khan from the opening round. That's what Jack Catteral didn't do. He beat him clearly. He beat Josh Taylor clearly. Every single round. He did. But he didn't school him. It was rough work. It was scrappy work. It was beating him to the punch and grabbing hold of him. It was slipping a punch and grabbing hold of him. It was headlocks. There was head clashes. All were guilty. But it was messy and scrappy, and judges do not like that. And when you've got a judge who sees that and then sees that the hometown guy, the absolute favourite, the pound-for-pound boy, who's going to win, is supposed to win, it's the only decision that's supposed to happen, is clearly frustrated with his own work, is clearly angry with his own work, clearly isn't performing at his best. It's just another little fraction of a thing that puts a decision. Do you know what? Maybe that was a 10-10. Maybe that was a 10-9. When really, it was Jack Catterall's round. And I know it seems strange that I'm trying to justify the decision, and I'm not. I am just trying to offer an explanation as to what happens sometimes. Partly because I've already had conversations with people in my own WhatsApp feeds and Instagram feeds who've asked me, you like your boxing, what happened? And like I said, I've been guilty of that before. You go and watch a fight live, you score it a certain way, then go home and rewatch it with all the angles, and you're like, shit, yeah, that guy got schooled. Do you know what I mean? And that just happens. But I genuinely, Josh Taylor, I wish you well. I understand he's going to move up in weight. I hope he does. And I wish him well. Jack Catteral, I'm really sorry. I am sorry. And you didn't deserve that. You are the champion. You won that fairly. And you were clearly robbed last night. I wish you both well. Please take care. And for the rest of you who are listening, let me know in your comments what you think. Have a great day.